fans, Beyond Wrestling. This is Denver, Colorado, the man, not the place. And boy, is this the one that we've all been waiting for or what? When's the last time that two competitors as strong as Chris Dickinson and the Uhaa Nation shared the same ring at the same time? I hope DJ Hyde had the students reinforce the ring here at the CZW Academy, because these two behemoths are going to be going to war in this shared space. Uhaa Nation, no intimidation whatsoever. He ties up for the first time ever with Chris Dickinson. And believe it or not, a sight to behold, it's Uhaa Nation backing Dickinson up into the corner. Is it possible that Dickinson has finally met his match when it comes to strength inside the wrestling ring? Uhaa Nation, sight set once again on Chris Dickinson. As these two competitors stalk one another, the collar and elbow tie-up. Dickinson really struggling, but he's able, successfully, to push the Uhaa Nation back into the corner. Of course, the Uhaa Nation really came to prominence right around the time he wrestled his one and only match for Beyond Wrestling, teaming with Stitch Cypher, representing, yes, you guessed it, the WWE 4 Academy at Back in Flesh. Shortly thereafter, he was signed to a Dragon Gate USA contract, and he has traveled all of Japan as one of Japan's hottest stars. One of the biggest wrestlers in all of Japan right now is the Uhaa Nation, making a rare appearance here in the United States, competing last night for CZW's Best of the Best tournament. While he fought the best of the best in CZW, right now he is facing, who many may argue, maybe the best wrestler that Beyond Wrestling has ever seen in Chris Dickinson. Uhaa Nation asking the official if Dickinson's going to give it up just by keeping those knuckles locked up. And Dickinson brought down to a knee. Dickinson having to resort to some cheap tactics, a boot to the midsection, reversing the position, now applying that side headlock. And I'm sure that everything that the Uhaa Nation has, I'm sure that Chris Dickinson would love. Chris Dickinson would love to tour Japan, kicking ass the way that the Uhaa Nation does. And perhaps a big victory over the Uhaa Nation may do just that, opening eyes and turning heads across the pond. Uhaa Nation challenging Dickinson to come in with that shoulder tackle. Neither man budges. Dickinson is frustrated right here. I've never seen Dickinson outmatched like this. Asking the Uhaa Nation if he wants to do it to him. Dickinson almost knocked all the way across the ring.
You put me right here, right now. Come on.
Telling the Uhaa Nation to put him down to the mat right here, right now. The second shoulder block attempt, Dickinson staggering into the corner. You know, a lot of times I describe Chris Dickinson like trying to fight a brick wall, except this brick wall fights back. What can he say about the Uhaa Nation? Oh, and that's one thing that Chris Dickinson does not have, is the ups of the Uhaa Nation. Yes, Chris Dickinson is agile, but he does not have the vertical leap. I mean, for Christ's sake, half the cruiserweights that weigh 100 pounds less than Uhaa Nation can't jump that high. This guy's an unbelievable athlete, a total freak. And the way that he's applied his skill set in the world of professional wrestling, not boding well for Chris Dickinson. Just taking him down with that elbow. Dickinson trying to get out of the ring. Uhaa Nation got Dickinson by the head. Gonna lift that arm overneath. Perhaps looking for a vertical suplex. Wow, a stalling suplex on a competitor the size of Chris Dickinson. It's gonna be close to 235 pounds. Uhaa Nation driving him down. Nation arguing with the official. Don't take your eyes off of Dickinson, because that's what you get met with. I don't think I've ever heard anybody get slapped as hard as Dickinson has. And look at the sick, sadistic grin on his face. I think he liked it. Oh, and it looked like he was going to slap Uhaa Nation back. Instead, a bit of misdirection. Kicked him in the midsection, chopped away at the chest. Now wrenching away on the left arm once again. Sends him across the ring hard with an Irish whip. Misses with the clothesline. Uhaa Nation go for that flying cross body, and it looks like the big ups of the Uhaa Nation might have worked against him. Look at the power of Dickinson, popping up Uhaa Nation on his shoulders, slamming him down, and just kicking him in the chest. Rolling him in a position. Dickinson's not done. Comes in with that clothesline. Running in place, the leg is hooked. Nation not even taking the 2 seconds to try and recover. Out before the 1 count. And sending an emphatic message to Chris Dickinson. You have not even put a chink in my armor yet. It's going to be a long night for Chris Dickinson, taking it to the Uhaa Nation. You're almost going to wonder how much it's hurting Dickinson's hands to throw some of those chops. Uhaa Nation is as solid as they come. And you're going to wonder what effect that may have as this match continues, if Dickinson is going to be looking to utilize some of those kicks or not. There's a little bit too much time to call with a headbutt. Now a second one. Dickinson with the toe kick. Using the snapmare. Oh! Yeah, no problem with the kicks out of Dickinson. And the stomp to the face to complete the sequence. For such a long period of time, for years, Dickinson wanted to turn Beyond Wrestling into his own personal hellhole, and where did it get him? Laid up in a hospital bed with a bum knee that cost him 15 months of his career. Since he has returned to Beyond Wrestling, we have seen a much more focused competitor. I think that Chris Dickinson is as good as he's ever been. Not wasting any time going into the bridge from that vertical suplex. I think that demonstrates the sense of urgency that Chris Dickinson has, knowing that he's in the ring with a world-class competitor like the Uhaa Nation. Talking shit, but who's he trying to convince? Catching him with a slap to the face. Ooh, Uhaa caught him off guard with that forearm. Rattled off 3, but Dickinson stopping him in his tracks. And now we see the open hand strikes. The martial arts background of Chris Dickinson coming into play. And now Dickinson with a headbutt of his own. The original death machine, Chris Dickinson. Trying to control the head once again, Uhaa Nation. He's got him in that cravat. And from that position, he can bring up those powerful legs right at the point of the knee to catch Uhaa Nation underneath the jaw. Looking for that knockout blow to put the Nation under. Dickinson taking his time with that overhand chop. Now looking to come off the ropes. Uhaa Nation ducking underneath. Oh, catching Dickinson with the German suplex. He's holding on. Oh, the second German suplex. And instead of going for the pin, he wants to make sure that he's got Dickinson beat. Going for a third, but Dickinson putting on the brakes. Doing everything in his power to try and fight out. Wild elbows. Oh, he got caught hard. Right across the shoulders, right across the neck. Uhaa Nation rolling back up to his feet. Oh, Dickinson sent overhead with all of his momentum used against him by the Uhaa Nation. 1, 2, 3. Only a 2 count. Uhaa Nation thought that was a 3 as well. Asking the official about as close as it gets. Chris Dickinson letting out an animalistic scream. Rushing away the pump kick attempt for the Uhaa Nation, but Nation's going to counter of his own. Sends Dickinson for the wide, telegraph the back body drop. Dickinson flipping over. 1, 2. Oh, picking his opponent off the mat. Ow! What strength out of Chris Dickinson. The Pazuzu bomb. Finding the mark, planting his opponent in the center of the ring. We see the official checking on Uhaa. Not even showing any signs of life. I think Dickinson could have had a beat right there if he wanted to go for the pin. Instead, I think Dickinson wants to show off just how strong he is. From this wheelbarrow position, he wants to take his opponent over with that German suplex. It's not enough for Chris Dickinson to win, not at Beyond Wrestling. He really wants to send a message. Whether it's to the Uhaa Nation, the other wrestlers or ringside officials in Japan, Gabe Sapolsky, who knows? That Saito suplex, Chris Dickinson dumping Uhaa Nation right on the top of his dome. Nation barely even stirring. First the powerbomb, then the Saito suplex. This guy can't. Spirit getting dropped in his head. One too many more times. Still kicks out. I think the face of Chris Dickinson says it all. Perhaps Dickinson's going to be looking for the brain eater. I don't even know if you can get the massive Uhaa Nation hooked up for it. I think where Dickinson usually excels, throwing these strikes. The competitor's so strong as the Uhaa Nation is just not working to his benefit. Caught with a number of shots. Now we see the kicks on display. Dickinson go for the crossbody, thrown overhead. Right into that Samoan drop. Awkward landing. Chris Dickinson could be out. Uhaa Nation doesn't want to chance it. Goes for the moonsault. And that could have cost him. Dickinson with the arm hook. He's going to try and get him up for the brain eater. Can he do it? Oh, dumped him in the back of his head once again. 1, 2, 3. And Chris Dickinson with one of the biggest wins of his career, certainly the biggest victory since he's returned to Beyond Wrestling over the past few months over a world-traveled competitor like the Uhaa Nation. First he dropped him on the head with the powerbomb, then with that Saito suplex, and finally the brain eater was enough for Chris Dickinson to knock off the world-traveled Uhaa Nation. And you gotta wonder if the Uhaa Nation has earned Chris Dickinson's respect. You gotta believe that that's the case. Great match.